back again. Miles to go, bringing you guys all the content that you keep asking for on all 6 of my comments. So something that that came about, it's going to be a pretty quick video, to be honest. It's not that crazy. Most of you guys could probably figure this stuff out. But I wanted to bring up something that I ran into when I was online looking for grills. So this is an 89 K5 Blazer. It's a diesel. That's not important. But the fact is, the important part right here is it's got this 1 DIN headlight. It doesn't have the 2 DINs side by side. Now that's important for the older trucks, 89 through 91, or the newer trucks, and then the older ones that have the single DIN as well, instead of having a smaller headlight and a smaller headlight. A lot of the grills that you shop for online say that they don't work for these types of headlight configurations, especially for the 89 and up, the TBI, a lot of the older Suburbans or K5 Blazers. And especially if you're looking for this kind of grill that I'm looking for, well, not really to say that I care about it, I just didn't like the grill that I had. And I had seen these types of grills in the past, you know, these like, whatever, billet, aluminum, billet, stainless steel type grills. These guys, they sell them on LMC truck for a ton of money. I don't recommend buying that. But if you have this kind of headlight configuration, it says that it doesn't work. So you can't even really buy it technically, according to what they say. Just for reference, this was the grill before. It was this kind of a thing. You'll find it on the later model trucks. But it all says online, even if you go Amazon elsewhere to buy these grills, it says that it doesn't work. Now, I ended up buying this one for 80 bucks, the one that I just showed you here, the aluminum billet style. It goes across the entire grill. It doesn't stop here and use the headlight bezels. It goes from end to end. Now, it says it's only for the earlier model trucks, like 81 through 87, maybe, I think. Potentially 88. It says that it doesn't work for these single DIN guys, and that's kind of true, but it also will work if you get a little bit creative, which is what I did. I went ahead and bought it anyways, just because I wanted to try it. It was 80 bucks. The stuff on LMC truck was like $250. Totally dumb, not worth it. I'll put the link for this one off Amazon. It's all stainless steel, so I knew I could weld on it if I needed to. I may have to, but I don't even think I will, to be honest. Now, it'll fit over your headlights and all that other crap, but the main concern that you're dealing with here when you throw this guy up here is that the older trucks have this little chrome thing that wraps around the entire grill, or the front end. It looks like this when you take it off in one piece. It's basically a big silhouette that goes over the entire thing. Like that. And that's why this one that I bought was for those older model trucks and not this newer one. Because the newer ones, they don't have that little chrome piece. However, I went and pulled that one I just pulled up for you guys. I pulled that from an 82 truck in the junkyard, and it's actually going to fit very easily on this 89. All the stuff is basically there for you. Let me take you off the tripod and just kind of run you through what we're looking at. So it's laying on the ground. Here's the 89. Now let's go over here and let's look at my 84. This is an 84. This is something that the grill I bought, the Billet one, said it would fit without any customization. You can see this little aluminum trim here. It's already there. So technically, you just take out your grill, you take out these bezels, you stick that billet thing in there, and all the holes will line up, and it's great. It's pretty easy. Now you can still do it on these other trucks, and I recommend buying the cheapest one off Amazon like I bought. I'll put the link in there. Because you can still do it, it just requires a little bit of effort. So if you notice, there's all these holes on the front of your grill. They're still there. This is what your little aluminum trim piece is going to slide into. I don't know why they're there, because they're not used by the factory grill for this guy, the later model trucks. I think it's probably just a tooling thing at the factory. They didn't want to change over their tooling just yet. Now you will have to drill holes at the bottom. You can see those here that I drilled. So let me line this up and I'll show you. You got to drill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 holes at the bottom. And then this little aluminum piece should line up right in there. And I'll show you what it looks like and where I had to drill. So before I show you on the truck, I just want to explain how a lot of this older Chevy square body type stuff works. I think it's kind of a tacky way of assembly. It basically was probably just a cheap way to manufacture stuff. But a lot of your trim pieces for these old K5s will utilize these really cheap 10mm sheet metal nuts, essentially. And this is your bolt or your screw. And it's just like a nipple that sticks out. It's gonna poke through whatever. It's the same thing on your tailgate trim piece. It's the same thing on a lot of these grill pieces. And then you just take this guy and kind of squish it down there and then righty-tighty the thing until it will stick and hold it on there pretty well. But it's not a true nut and bolt. So it really, I mean, you can probably only take these things off a handful of times before they end up giving up the ghost. But I just wanted to show you how those worked. So if you're trying to take something off without breaking it, don't just pry. There's one of these stupid little 10mm nuts on the back. Okay, so everything up top pretty much lined up. I didn't have to drill any holes. It's all down here. This guy, there was not a hole. I drilled one out. I drilled another one, so on and so forth down the line. These little guys on the end, they just slide in behind there. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this little nut and then I'm gonna go on the back side and pinch them down before I put the grill in, so it's a lot easier to hold it into place. So I'll go around and do the rest of those. Okay, we've pretty much got everything put on. It looks a little interesting because I got the light shining right on it, so you can kind of see everything behind it. Keep in mind, everything behind this, aside from that light, and half of this light has been painted black. Someone accidentally painted that black. Now everything in the backdrop has been painted black, even the condenser, the tranny cooler that was put in. So just a heads up, I didn't do that. You know, I don't know if it makes a ton of a difference, but that's where we're at. So right now I put in the actual billet grill. All 3 of the holes up top for the most part line up. There's one right about here. Let me try to, so one here, and there's one here. This is what came factory with this billet grill. And then the last one over here, you can barely see the corner. It's on the left-hand side of that hole. I'm gonna drill it out a bit, and then I will put in the top. Now the bottom, gonna be a little bit trickier. If you look in there, you can see the metal piece from the grill, and then you can see the metal piece from the actual truck. Now it does go down, so I'm just gonna come from the bottom up underneath here, and I'm gonna drill a hole through that, and the drill is gonna come up through and go into this bracket piece here, and that's how I'll mount the bottoms. I've got 3 to do for that. Those holes, they really don't line up. You can see there's nothing in the middle here at all, but the 2 side pieces, you can kind of see they don't line up with any sort of factory hole. I'm gonna have to drill holes through all that, but otherwise then it will be fully secured on multiple different anchor points, and the grill will basically be done and attached. So actually, one thing I'm gonna try that I'll kind of show you guys right now, don't mind the Crocs, these guys. So I'm sure you're familiar with this. These are the little backing clips that slide over a lot of the interior pieces on a Blazer and a lot of different trucks. And then a screw, typically a face screw, will roll through this and then tighten down. So what I'm gonna actually try to do rather than putting, you know, a little screwdriver, a wrench in here to hold the backside of the nut and then put the bolt from the bottom, I'm gonna actually try to slip these guys over top of these existing pieces in here. So basically that guy down in there, the tabs, I'm gonna slip this over the tabs, and then I'm gonna just hopefully be able to put my bolts right through here and not have to hold it with a wrench on the backside. If not, I'll get a nylon lock washer and I'll hold it with a little wrench on the backside. But otherwise, I think I might do a video to end it and show you what the finished product looks like, but I actually really might not, because it's basically done. It's just not bolted in at this point, and I want this to be a pretty short video. It's very straightforward. These billet grills, you can absolutely make them work on almost any of these square body trucks, as long as you play with it a little bit and then get the right pieces, mainly this trim from the junkyard. So I think that's it.